sections are about to be open. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is a classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Chinese Terran player, the blue Terran himself, representing Weibo Gaming. It is Oliveira. Let's go. Let us go. So we are going to be calming things down. I'm sure a very different kind of dynamic is about to be portrayed here as well. Oliveira, he's not afraid to be hyper-aggressive and all-in at times. Not afraid to even go one base all-in this matchup. No fear, Papi, no fear. I think we spoke about this during ESL Asia, how Oliveira, as of late, he has been trying to be the aggressor in this matchup. He had an interview where he spoke about how he was approaching TvP, how he had a discussion with Maru, and how he was struggling. Oliveira was struggling a lot in TvP, and Maru told him to... Oh God. Emil Este Rotterdam. Unfortunately, a little bit of latency here, and we may end up dropping one of our casters. It's okay, there's a clean feed. There is a clean feed. If Rotterdam's internet goes down, he can always catch up. Oh, Wardy left. Harst? Oh my god. It wasn't you guys. It was... Oh my god. Why did Wardy and Harstam leave? It was Rotterdam. Wait. Oh, was it all three? Was it... Did someone cut the cables connecting to the European server? What just happened? What? Just suddenly all the European casters lagged out. Aye. Hopefully they're okay, and again, there's a clean feed, so it's all good. There's a clean feed. They'll be able to join. They'll be able to cast from the Chinese POV, the Chinese observer. It's all good. EO internet, true. I mean, EO internet it can be smudged at times. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, but it happens to the best of us, you know. Hey, we have Australian internet. Hashtag relatable. We understand. As Initial Reaper does move out. Moving out across the map, we have our tech of choice. Going to be a Twilight Council opener here out of Classic. Is going to be our initial Twilight Council. Italian internet, best internet. Kappa. So there he dips in, he does dip away. Meanwhile, a shout to Babylings. Oh my god. Papi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for waiting. Hope you had a great ladder session. You had a great stream. You had a long stream, Papi, long stream. But I hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope there was minimal smudge and minimal ZVZ. Thank you so much for those that are tuning in. Welcome to the semi-finals of KungFu Cup of KFC, Papi. Welcome. We're here in the semi-finals. MaxPax is waiting in the grand finals. MaxPax, he just clowned all over Clem. Clem took an 0-2 loss versus MaxPax, and now we're settling into a fresh best of 3. The normal man versus the chin toss. Let's go. Let us go. Long street, no. No, not like this. Regardless, hope you enjoyed yourself and hope you had a great time catching up with everyone again. It's great to see. For those that are curious, Babyling, longtime supporter of the CranKy Ducklings, likewise has been a long-time streamer, has been on a bit of a hiatus, but has recently started streaming again. Recently did begin streaming again, so hope it was fun overall. As for now, we're settling in. It is going to be a 3-gate opener. We have 1 gateway in the main base. We have 2 gateways here on the low ground. It's going to be 3-gate blink out of Classic. Very safe play. This allows us to be assertive. This allows Classic to gain map control. He can threaten Oliveira and shut down any aggression. Speaking of aggression, this looks like the beginning of a 2-base all-in. I was a little bit distracted, so I do apologize. But Oliveira, he throws down 2 more axes. That is a 3-1 setup. Delayed starport. Usually when you delay the starport like this, when you prioritize stim, it's to hit a stim timing. Very, very potent stim and combat shield timing on the horizon. We should be moving out with 2 to 3 tanks, and we can pull the boys with this. We can pull the boys. Oh boy, we'll see how committed Oliveira is with this timing. Technically, you can throw down a 3rd CC behind this push, but for the most part, this is usually an all-in. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have our Bay on the way. Classic going for the Bay before the third, so very safe play at a Classic, so I do favor Classic here. He has triple gateways and a Bay first. Safety Immortal as well. Oh my god, Classic playing so carefully. He's not cutting any corners here. And the Stalkers move out. He does get eyes in the main. We have to be careful though. Starport now on the way. Classic does threaten a dive. He gives some SCVs. Gets 2 workers. Stim is done in 10 seconds. And Classic will have to back off. Doesn't want to get caught out. Doesn't want to get caught by the Stim. Classic is forced out of the main. Meanwhile, we only built up towards 1 tank. Interesting. Just the 1 tank, not additional tanks. Oliveira did confirm the lack of 3rd base earlier with that Reaper. Starport is now done. And Oliveira, he's just building up and getting ready for his move out. Has a lot of potential with this army, but is still yet to pull the trigger. Back at home, again, because of the safe opener, we already have the first Colossus. Like, I think Classic should be fine. He should be safe. It should be. And there we go. We're going for the 3rd CC on location. A very late 3rd base. Oliveira was very committed with this army and is moving out, but I'm not so sure we can get much done with it. So we're forced to take a delayed expansion. Stalkers don't quite dip in. And back at home, Classic is just settling into his 3 bases. 2nd Colossus on the way. 2 shield batteries, overcharge as well. If Oliveira did commit to a push, I mean, we can't break this. No shot. So Oliveira, he's stuck at home, forced to take a delayed expansion. And we'll see where we go from here. Now, what I will say, I don't want to be like full like doom and gloom here, like, oh, like we missed the timing and we missed the move out. True, but we can hit a later timing. What's important here is that Oliveira, he retains the army, right? Like, we retain the Marines, we retain the Marauders. We haven't really lost much, so we can work towards a later timing instead and still, like, maintain this army. So Oliveira at least has that available. It's not like Oliveira committed, moved out, and lost everything to the Colossus, and then the game ends, right? So we still have a back and forth. As Oliveira's getting into his own 3rd. Behind this, Classic can take a 4th. Can take a 4th base. I believe Classic did get eyes on the 3rd CC. Yep, he's fully aware. We have Storm on the way, diversifying our splash damage. Colossus into Storm, not into Disruptor. We saw Max Pax handle his bolts earlier, and Pappy, the balls were beautiful. They were crazy. They were insane. Here, Classic, he's going to storm it up instead. He's a little bit more classy, if you will. Just leave his balls alone. As Storm is halfway done. Going to be halfway done at this point. We can see Oliveira rotating around. He is being active. Classic threatening a drop towards the main, but Oliveira does get eyes on this. Up goes for the dive. Classic does unsiege just in time, does get away. Prism will survive. 4th base is on the horizon. Storm is now done. Double forge, double upgrades finishing up as well. And Classic is just building up this death ball of an army. Meanwhile, Oliveira does have a supply lead. That is true. Again, we spoke about this earlier. He didn't go for the first timing, so we can build up and get ready for a 2nd push instead with 4 tanks with a hefty Marauder count. How many Marauders? That's going to be 19. As many Marauders as there are Marines. So a very beefy army here for Oliveira. Is knocking down these rocks, pushing out towards the 4th base. But we have Storms. Oh, and that's a massive... Oh my god, a brutal storm of the army. Yeah, the storms are insane. We collapse double the tanks as well, and we will shut this down. The tanks fall one after the other. The Colossus likewise going to go down to the Vikings. But what about the ground army? As we warp it from behind, we collapse on the army. And Oliveira, he's shut down. Yeah, forced to back off, losing every single tank. Did reset the Colossus counts and did force to spend most of the storms. All the storms, actually. But Classic now strips away any momentum that Oliveira had. Oliveira has map control. We can reinforce it. We can push it. We can go for the kill. We can try it. I mean, we have Liberation. Liberation has it. We have freedom, Papi. We have freedom. Behind this, +1 air attack. Classic, give him a chance, and he will embrace Skytoss. He's very fond of it. So he's getting ready for that Skytoss transition with +1 air attack. Dipping on 4, does see the freedom. does back off. Wants none of it. And do you see what I see? Stargate. Stargate is on the way. We're getting ready for a longer late game. Strap yourselves in. Classic, he sees that he cannot break Oliveira on 3 bases. So instead, we take a 5th base and we take up and we get ready for Sky Toss. Classic taking a lead and getting further ahead. At the same time, more Prism gonna be caught out by the Viking. Barely will escape. Barely will get away. Oliveira building up. We have a 4CC, soon to be floating over towards the left-hand side. Scan will reveal all the Stargates and the Fleet Beacon. We spoke about Sky Toss, and we see everything. That should trigger a response. We should be seeing a 2nd starport, mass Viking production, +1 ship weapons is on the way. One of 2 things. Either Oliveira tries to kill Classic before Sky Toss, or he embraces the late game as well. For now, taking a 4th. Taking a 4th base. Classic being active. He does spot the main army. Does spot the would-be 4th. Rotates over. Does spot the tank. Gets 1. But nice spread here by Oliveira. Decent EMP as well. Who is it? Is it me? No! Everyone's disconnecting. Oh.
Game paused.
Ooh, yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave. I am gonna leave here. It's okay, we have clean feed. We have a clean feed, so I will hop on over. Fun fact, I know what it is. It was OBS. Was OBS. Not the in-game client. Kind of. Okay. Bam. There we go. Okay, we have the clean feed. Rotating over. Whew. And with that, we do see Classic pushing in. And, I mean, we were already towards the tail end of the game as well. Storm's going to be popping off. The quality of the clean feed is not too clean, but we can make use of it. And GG gets called. Classic will break through and does take game number 1. Whew. GG, well played. I do apologize for that, but yeah, that was interesting what just happened there. I imagine the same thing happened to the European casters. If you remember, Roddy, Harsum, and Wardy also disconnected. But yeah, that wasn't my internet per se, that was OBS. So it looks like maybe the Twitch servers are the cause and less so. I mean, I did look out of the in-game as well, but it did lag out a little bit in-game, but it was like a big like spike in OBS. Interesting. Okay. Hopefully we're okay, and hopefully it doesn't affect us again. If it does, I'll only cast from the clean feed. I will say that. So I'll join the lobby, but if that happens again, then I will get the hell out. I don't want to negatively impact the players or anything like that. Don't want to do it. Twitch servers are twitching, Pipe. They are. Ugh. Here we go. We are getting in. Oh, we're not watching for the clean feed. Close that. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of our Kiona, we have our Korean Protoss, a player leading the series 1-0 in this best of 3 semifinals. Representing Twisted Minds, it is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player from land of China, representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is Oliveira. But yeah, straight up, if that happens again, if I do lag out, then I will just leave the game and I'll just focus on casting from clean feed. I think that's what the other casters are doing. I think that's what Wardy and Rodam and Harsum, I think they're focusing on the clean feed for now. So I'll do the same if it happens to me as well. Will do the same. Oh, yeah, that was quite a game. Sorry, I was taken out of it a little bit. But Classic, he was all over Oliveira. He was all over Oliveira, able to just shut down the initial aggression. If you remember, Oliveira was stuck at home because of the Blink Stalkers. Likewise, he missed his timing, went for a later push, but the Storms were brutal. The Storms were insane, and Classic just shut down the push then and there. And now Classic is one game away from making it to the Grand Finals. One game away. Here we go. As Oliveira going for an economic opener this time. It is a single gas opener, so a Rax expand. A CC on the low ground is forced to be off center. A little bit off center here. CC is on the way. Classic going to be embracing another standard opener. We'll keep an eye on Classic. As a reminder, last game it was a Twilight Council opener into 3-gate Blink. It was 3-gate Blink into a Robo Bay before the third base. Again, it was just really safe play from Classic in game 1. I think he had recognized that Oliveira was being more aggressive and responded with just as safe a play as you can go for. Already had Colossus out even in time for the first push that Oliveira didn't go for. And once again, Twilight Council from Classic is going to be that Twilight Council opener. They will threaten the shade. For now, just going to be focused down. Will be cleaned up. And Oliveira just setting up here on 2 bases. We do have a straight up 1-1-1 this time. There's no delay on the starport. There's no prioritization of 2 Raxes. So now Oliveira is under no kind of obligation of be hyper aggressive and move out across the map. Something a little more laid back, a little more standard. This can more seamlessly lead into a third CC. Not as aggressive as what we saw previously. Not as aggressive. As Oliveira is just going to be settling down. Do have additional Raxes on the way. Going to be a 3-1-1 setup. 3 Raxes, 1 factory, 1 starport. We're easing our way into game 2. I mean, it makes sense. We're loading into Alkiona. This is a much more macro-oriented map, known for 3-base play, 4-base play, split map scenario, late game. Classic was looking to embrace Skytoss in the last game. If you remember, didn't quite get there. The game ended earlier, but we could try to embrace that here in game number 2. Again, Classic, his style of PvT, if he ever sees an opportunity, if he ever notices that he has a lead, that he has map control, that the Terran is stuck at home, then he will start the fleet beacon. Like, that's just how he plays. I mean, it works. He's an animal, Pop. He's an animal. Does like to embrace it whenever he can. As Medevac will threaten to drop into the main. Oh, dipping in. Yeah, going for the mine drop, and it looks like we do respond in time. Oh my god, one mine shot will go off the other, barely nods. We do get 2 probes. That's an okay amount of damage, but we will shut this down. Winter mines will be cleaned up, and the Medevac takes a lot of hits, but will barely not escape. Oh my god, Blink popping off towards the end, and Classic shuts down the drop. Meanwhile, across the map, we're slipping into the natural base. SCVs are going down. We get 2, we get 3 SCVs. Remember, there is no stim, so we can blink away. A very efficient trades here by Classic. Behind this, it just was 2 gateways. No, sorry, 3 gates, my apologies. 3-gate Blink into, once again, the Bay before the third base. This is the same build that Classic went for in game 1. Very safe play. This time, I don't think this works anywhere near as well for Classic. Last game it was working beautifully because the Terran player was being aggressive. This time, we're just playing overly safe and now taking a bit of a delayed third. Regardless, damage was done. And Classic still has map control. Still has the map control. We can see that Oliveira is still just building up, getting ready for his eventual bio move out. Stim about to finish up as well. Alright, settling into Stim. Oliveira vying for map control, forcing Classic back. But again, back at home, we have a Colossus, we have a shield battery, we have an overcharge. Really, we're just fighting for the Zonaga, essentially. Like, Oliveira can't really threaten the base. He scans, he confirms, Oliveira backs off. And we get a third CC. Third CC is on the way. We are building up towards the mid game. We're calming things down. Are calming things down here. Settling into our 3 bases. Colossus are amassing. Gateway explosion behind this. From here, Classic can take a 4th. Already mining through the middle patches. Could even take the gold, actually. We'll see what we go for. We'll see how greedy we want to be. As a Classic does keep up with the drop play. Oh! Dodging those mines. Working towards chargelets. Towards his gateway composition. No big sign of other splash damage yet. If you remember last game, we embraced Storm, and there it is. Temple Archives is on the way. It looks like once again Colossus into Storm. Not really relying on disruptors. That's kind of the big difference between Classic and Max Pax so far here tonight. If you remember, Max Pax was more than willing to embrace disruptors in his games. Here, Classic is avoiding it. Both in Game 1 and here in Game 2. Meanwhile, Oliveira, with the map control, able to knock down these rocks, will threaten the 4th, or at least scout the 4th base. 4th is on the way. Oliveira will confirm. And as he spots the 4th, as we have Storm on the way, we have the Ghost Academy. So both players, you know, they have their back and forth. They're building up. Classic does have the economic lead currently, in a way. Oliveira's working on his mules. 4 CC on the way, not too far behind the 4th of Classic. Let's go. Oliveira is keeping up. And we're going to be calming things down. Now, we spoke earlier. Oh, we missed the Observer! No! We barely do miss the Observer. Here on the right-hand side. I was going to say that if both players calm down, if we expand and get a 4th base, then Classic will take that opportunity to tech up into Sky Toss and go for a Fleet Beacon. So we'll keep an eye on Classic to see when and where he does it. This is a really good map for it. We saw last game that the game ended before we could really embrace the Sky Toss, but this is a good map for Sky Toss. And I'm sure Classic is aware. Speaking of, yep, there it is. As if on cue, Stargate. Stargate has been thrown down. We'll keep an eye on +1 air attack as well. Again, it's just very iconic and very stylistic here of Classic. To embrace Skytoss whenever he can. Oliveira rotating over. Stripping map vision away from Classic. Getting ready for his 4 CC. Vikings are initially amassing. Top against the Colossus. And Oliveira is moving out. Likewise, so is Classic. We do catch out some of the bio. The bio is spotted. Storm zones away the Vikings. 2 more Stargates on the way. It's going to be triple Stargate in total. There's a Fleet Beacon. And again, we're getting ready for those carriers. Ooh, we catch the Prism. Very nicely done. And the question becomes, can Oliveira break Classic before we can really embrace this kind of late game army composition? As Oliveira is moving out. Yeah, before the Skytoss really gets going. Moving out towards the gold. Yeah, the gold base is going to be denied. There's no saving it. Yeah, it's going to be cancelled. Classic at the same time going for his Zealot counterattack. Planetary's not done. Yeah, it's Planetary not quite done, and that's a big reaction out of Oliveira. He races back home. Ooh. Leading out to 8 SCVs, and Classic, he's chasing this down. Catching a tank, catching a second tank as well. 2 tanks go down. Big pick up. We get 2 tanks. Classic takes another base. Denied the gold, but expands on the right-hand side. Zells, they drag the army towards the natural, which means Classic can go for the 4th. He can go for the planetary. We'll dive in. We'll try to focus it down. Here come those High Templar. We have 4 High Templar full of energy, and here come the storms. Massive storms on the bio. On the Vikings as well. We can focus down 1 Colossus. But the storms are brutal. And saying that, we shut down every single Colossus, but was it worth it? Because we lose 23 SCVs and the planetary. Gonna try and double expand. Classic behind this as he bleeds out Colossus. Carriers. This is Classic's final form. Carriers are on the way. And because we just killed all those Colossus, it's very possible we don't rebuild the Vikings. Viking count, we have 8 Vikings. That's an okay Viking count. We would like a little bit more. But again, we are unaware of the carrier production. Oliveira doesn't know. Oliveira is in the dark. We're building up, getting our double expanding. Oliveira, he's unaware of bottom right. He scans, he's looking for the expansion, he's looking for the 4th, or for the 5th even. Doesn't find it. Not yet. The base so far is unscattered. Is unseen. We have +1 air attack on the way. How many carriers are we up to? We're up to 3 carriers, soon to be 6 carriers and a mothership. Scan does reveal. Big scout. Scan gets eyes on the carrier production, on the fleet peak, and on everything we need to see. And Vikings. Immediately, Vikings are on the way. But we need a 2nd starport. We need a 2nd starport, another reactor, full Vikings at a time, maybe even a 3rd starport. And there it is. Additional starports are in production. They are on the way. +1 ship weapons as well will help. But Oliveira does not have the ideal army. He's got a lot of supply in Marauders. A lot of supply. And that's not necessarily what we need right now. Oh boy. Yeah, you can see double starport. So that's the 2nd and 3rd starport on the way. We need as many as possible. Do we finish the warp in? We do. Ooh, kind of. Not really. Just 1 zealot. Classic pushing forward. The army is scanned. How many Vikings do we have? 10 Vikings. That's okay. That's okay. It's an okay Viking count. We are pushing in. Oliveira getting ready for the surround. It's coming in from every single angle. How good are the storms going to be? So far, so good. And we land 1 storm. We land another as well. And the bio army crumbles. Classic is snowballing out of control. He shuts down the Marines. GG gets called in. Classic will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here. Classic will take the series. My condolences here to Oliveira, but that was a very powerful showing. I mentioned before that Classic and Oliveira, they faced off a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago in the finals, in the grand finals of ESL Asia. Classic did win there as well. He was looking strong in that best of 5. Here, likewise, Classic is on fire, is on point. We spoke about it during ESL Asia about how Classic is a player to keep an eye on leading into EWC, leading into Esports World Cup. Classic has been winning tournament after tournament. Classic is this week's KSL champion, this week's ESL Asia champion, and can he be this week's KungFu Cup champion as well? Can he go for the trifecta? Can he go for the hat trick? Oh boy. We'll see. As Classic is going up against MaxPax in the grand finals. Here we go. Classic versus MaxPax. We're going for the triple crown, Pappy. The triple crown. Gonna be a best of 5. We'll set up the teams and set up those predictions. Let's go.